Centralized Funds Accounts Committee. Is that Honorable Muriungi? You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Centralized Funds Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for 26 constituencies in Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, Taita Taveta, Lamu, and Tana River for the financial years 2013-2014, 2014-2015, 2015-2016, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 25th April 2023. Mr. Speaker, Sir, oversight of a national revenue and expenditure is amongst the roles of the National Assembly as stipulated under Article 95(4)(c) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Further, Article 226(2) of the Constitution provides that an Act of Parliament shall provide for the designation of an accounting officer in every public entity at the national level who is accountable to the National Assembly for its financial management. In addition, Article 2298 mandates this House to debate and take appropriate action on audit reports from the Auditor General. In fulfillment of these constitutional provisions, the National Assembly Standing Order number 205B established the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee, DFAC, whose mandate is to examine reports of the Auditor General of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, among other funds like GAF. Mr. Speaker, sir, the predecessor committee, Special Funds Accounts Committee, SPAC, in the 12th Parliament prepared the 11th report of the audited financial statements of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for 26 constituencies in the counties of Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, Taita Taveta, Lamu, and Tana River for the financial years 2013-14, 2014-15, and 2015-16, after receiving evidence from the Chief Executive Officer of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund and the fund account managers of the fund. The Special Funds Accounts Committee tabled its report on the 2nd of December 2021. However, it was not debated by the 12th Parliament. For this reason, the Decentralized Funds Accounts Committee, DFAC, which is a successor of SPAC, in its 7th sitting held on 28th February 2023, resolved to revive the matter from the exit report of SPAC by considering the report with a view to present it to the 13th Parliament for consideration and adoption, which I'm doing today. Mr. Speaker, sir, Madam Speaker, I didn't know there was a changeover. Madam Speaker, the committee considered the report in 3 sittings that were held on the 28th of February 2023, 16th of March 2023, and 11th of April 2023. The report highlights what was previously examined and tabled before the House by SPAC in the 12th Parliament. The committee reviewed the queries, observations, and recommendations from each constituency. In its sitting held on Tuesday, 11th April 2023, the DPAC committee unanimously adopted the report without amendments. Overview of the report. Madam Speaker, this report highlights what was previously examined and tabled before the House by SPAC in the 12th Parliament. The committee reviewed the audit queries, observations, and recommendations from each constituency, proposing course of action in response to matters raised by the Office of the Auditor General. The SPAC in its 11th report subsequently adopted by DIPAC. Main specific observations and recommendations arising from the audit queries regarding 11 constituencies, namely Likoni, Kisahuni, Nyali, Jomfu, Bura, Lamu West, Taveta, Mwatate, Nganze, Kilifi North, and Malindi. It recommended that investigations of some issues by competent agencies against specific officers of the NGCDF. In addition, the NGCDF board was tasked to follow up on some issues mentioned in the report. In 15 constituencies, which I've mentioned, in 15 constituencies, namely Muvita, Changamwe, Musambweni, Lungalunga, Matunga, Kinango, Garsen, Galole, Lamu East, Udanyi, Voi, Kaloleni, Kilifi South, Mangarini, and Rabai, the committee made observations and recommendations that relate to policy issues, non-compliance with existing laws, and non-adherence to the International Public Sector Accounting Standards Framework, IPSAS. The section on general observations and recommendations captures issues regarding bookkeeping, preparation and accuracy of financial statements, compliance to reporting standards, and accuracy of the financial statements, standardization of projects and late disbursements of funds, compliance with the audit cycle timelines, non-remittance of statutory deductions, compliance on the use of emergency funds, and reallocation of funds without approval. The report makes recommendations to address the issues raised, some of which I beg to highlight in this report. General observations and recommendations that cut across 26 constituencies. Madam Speaker, having considered the audited financial statements, the committee made the following general observations and the recommendations that cut across the 26 constituencies. Number 1, late disbursement and underutilization of funds. Madam Speaker, the committee observed that there was underutilization of funds in different constituencies due to late disbursement of funds by the board and the National Treasury, hence rollover of funds from the subsequent years due to late receipts. That is like what is happening now. 2 months before the end of the financial year, the Treasury is yet to release over 60% of the constituency's fund. The committee recommends that the National Treasury ensures timely disbursement of funds to the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Board for immediate release to the constituencies. 2, the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury shall submit to the National Assembly constituencies quarterly exchequer disbursements schedule, not later than the 15th day of the end of each quarter. Number 2, bookkeeping, preparation and accuracy of the financial statements. The committee observed that the bookkeeping and preparation of financial statements is a big challenge in almost all the constituencies' offices. Recommendations. The committee recommends that the National Government Constituency Development Fund Board strengthens the constituencies' offices by establishing treasury units to serve the constituencies. Currently, constituencies are served by the DC's treasury unit. Number 2, compliance to reporting standards and accuracy of the financial statements. The committee observed that fund account managers experience challenges in adopting to the International Public Sector Accounting Standards (IPSAS) reporting framework in the preparation of the financial statements. Recommendations. The NGCDA board should conduct continuous capacity building on financial reporting standards for constituency committees and PMCs to improve quality of reporting and enhance compliance. Number 2, the NGCDA board should consider employing qualified accountants for the constituency's offices beginning financial year 2022-23 within the 5% administrative allocation of the board. This will strengthen the maintenance of books of accounts, preparation of financial statements, and the timely submission of the statements and documents to the auditors by the constituency's offices. Standardization of the NGCDF construction projects. The committee observed that there were inconsistencies in design, cost, and the quality of similar projects across the constituencies in coastal region. This creates a challenge in determining the value for money, since the cost of construction and the designs are not similar. Further, there is no policy guidelines and cost estimates provided by the NGCDA board to guide the CDF committees and PMCs in undertaking similar projects in their constituencies. The committee recommends that, number 1, the NGCDA board fast tracks the recruitment of independent quantity surveyors and architects to address the inconsistencies in the projects across the constituencies. Number 2, the accounting officer ensures that all projects undertaken by NGCDF are branded, including the year of funding and the photographs taken during the handing over to by the contractor and commissioning as evidence of ownership of the project. 3, within 3 months of the adoption of this report, the NGCDA board initiates the development of an overarching policy guidelines that include designs and the cost estimates for NGCDA projects. Number 5, reallocation of funds without approval by the NGCDA board. The committee observed that some fund managers implemented projects and reallocated funds without seeking prior approval from the NGCDA board. This was in contravention to Section 6.2 and Section 31 of the NGCDF Act 2015. The Act provides reallocation of funds during the financial year must at all times be within the approval of the NGCDA board. The committee also noted that some National Government Constituency Development Fund committees had not engaged the services of a clerk of works as provided for in the NGCDA board guidelines. The committee recommends that, number 1, the NGCDA board takes administrative action against fund account managers that reallocated funds without the approval of the board, contrary to Section 6 of the NGCDF Act 2015, and then desist from political witch-hunting of MPs who are not signatories to the account. Number 2, the accounting officer ensures that all the fund account managers ensure compliance with Section 6.2 and Section 13 of the NGCDF Act 2015. Number 3, the accounting officers ensures that all fund account managers and PMCs consult and involve the relevant government departments during initiation, cost estimation, and implementation of the projects to ensure that priority projects are selected, adequate budgeting and quality works are provided in compliance with Section 46(1) of the NGCDF Fund Act 2015. Number 6, guidelines on the use of emergency funds. The committee observed that some of the projects funded using emergency funds did not meet the threshold set out in Section 8 of the NGCDF Act 2015. The committee recommends that within 3 months of the adoption of this report, the NGCDA board issues guidelines to all the constituencies and the PMCs clarifying the use of emergency funds. Number 7, non-remittance of statutory deductions. The committee observed that some fund account managers failed to file and remit various statutory deductions such as NHIF and NSSF as required by the law. The funds paid penalties for non-compliance. The committee recommends that, number one, accounting officers should ensure that all accounting managers, fund account managers, comply with the National Social Security Fund Act and the National Health Insurance Fund Act, number 9 of 1998. And number two, the accounting officer in liaison with KRA should put in place sensitization programs on taxation for the fund account managers and the PMCs with the aim of enhancing tax compliance. Number three, the board should take administrative action against fund account managers who do not remit statutory deductions on time. Conclusion. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, allow me to sincerely thank my fellow members of the committee for their great sacrifice and many hours that they put to come up with this report. My appreciation also goes to the predecessor committee, Special Funds Accounts Committee, who prepared the 11th report of the audited financial statements for the National Government Constituency Development Fund for the 26 constituencies in the counties of Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, Taita Taveta, Lamu, and Tana River for the financial years 2013-14, 2014-15, and 2015-16. I would also wish to thank your office and that of the clerk for the great support for the committee. May I also extend committee appreciation to the Office of the Auditor General and the National Treasury and that of the Chief Executive Officer of the NGCDF Board for availing necessary information that was required, which enabled the committee to finalize this report in time. I therefore call upon members to support this report. I beg to move and I request Honorable Dorothy Ikiara, MP, to second the report. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Proceed. Give her the mic.
Have the mic. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion on the financial statement for the